It is a scary prospect, a seemingly minor injury from your past causing serious psychological problems in your future. Think back to the last time you or your children fell. Did they hit their head? If the blow was hard enough, it could one day lead to serious neurological problems. Tonight, the 12 News Defenders expose the dangers of traumatic brain injuries, also known as TBIs. Jason Stanley looks like a healthy young man, but he admits he's not the same person he was 5 years ago.
Anxiety, aggression. I dealt with depression really bad. I could wake up and just be so bummed out, just so down about anything and everything.
It was 2007. Jason was a student at Auburn University, and one night on his way home, he was assaulted.
And I fell back and my head hit the concrete.
But what at first appeared to be just some cuts to the head ended up being something much more serious.
And Flacco.
It's the same realization many are coming to in the NFL, that head injuries likely have longer lasting implications than anyone knew.
The brain can sort of slosh back and forth, and it's protected within the skull. At a certain level, though, that impact with the skull becomes injurious.
Attorney Mike Andrews specializes in brain trauma cases. He says his clients experience symptoms ranging from insomnia and depression to serious behavior and mood disorders.
The brain not only controls things like our breathing and our speech, but it also controls our personality and who we are.
That's why it's so important to seek treatment for head injuries and involve the right medical professionals.
The first 24 hours following a head injury is the most important time.
Things have gotten better.
For Jason, the psychological effects didn't show up for months after his assault, and he says his depression is still a constant battle. But it's a battle he manages. He's graduated from Auburn and now speaks publicly, raising awareness about his condition.
Lay down. Good girl. It's been a roller coaster, but you got to be, optimistic about it. You got to, live every day and enjoy it, and keep striving to better yourself.
So what kind of injuries can lead to brain trauma? Well, they can be anything from a tackle on the football field to a car accident or falling off a bicycle or playground equipment. That's why it's important to get checked out in the first 24 hours, as you heard, and tell the doctor you're concerned about brain trauma. You can also call in specialists. Ask the hospital to contact the Alabama Head Injury Foundation. That group has experts who know what to look for in these cases. You can also minimize the odds of a future head injury with the right safety equipment, whether it's airbags or seat belts on your cars or using helmets when you're biking or playing sports. You'll find tips and more information on this topic right now inside this story at WSFA.com. CT scans have revolutionized medicine.
You can see stones, you can see bruises on brains.
They allow doctors to diagnose problems without surgery.
To locate tumors, blockages of blood vessels, saves thousands of lives.
Baptist Medical Center's Kelly Putnam showed us his hospital's newest CT scanner, which creates 64 slices of the human body in just 1 second. But that added imagery equals added radiation. Research shows one CT scan is equivalent to as many as 500 regular chest x-rays.
We're not informed.
Becky Couder was one of dozens of patients at a Huntsville hospital told they received elevated levels of radiation during CT scans. She says she lost her hair and started having headaches and memory loss.
Eventually, I was told, you got a little bit too much.
Her hair grew back, but she still wonders what's going on inside her body.
None of us know that we're getting so much when we have a CAT scan, how dangerous it is.
And a new survey in the Journal of the American Medical Association confirms that. It says less than half of the patients surveyed were told of radiation risks associated with CT scans, and less than 5% of them understood that radiation could increase their lifetime risk of cancer.
We answer any questions asked.
Baptist, like most hospitals, leaves it up to individual doctors to educate their patients about radiation. And they say it's important to remember, in most cases, the benefits do far outweigh the risks.
At the end of the day, you want to make sure you are taking care of the patient who might have a problem in 40 hours and giving that the due of care you need and not so much worrying about what might happen in 40 years.
At the grocery store, we've all seen the labels: natural, organic, gluten-free. Which ones really mean something, and are they the best choice for your family? The short answer, it depends. Tonight, the 12 News Defenders are looking out for your health and your wallet. When many people go grocery shopping, price is the bottom line.
I don't look for organic things.
But for others, purity is important.
The stuff they put on it to pesticides, and so that's just kind of a big concern.
With organic foods, you avoid those pesticides, but you also pay more. So we went shopping with nutritionist Miriam Gaines to find out which organic products are worth the price. When it comes to fruits and vegetables, she says, look at the skin.
When you're thinking about produce such as an apple, you think about the fact that the skin is so thin, so the pesticide can actually go into the apple.
That goes for tomatoes and leafy green vegetables too. But
when you're talking about a produce that has a thick skin, that you typically peel the skin, then this would be a produce that you would not necessarily need to be organic.
so you could save some money there.
Exactly.
In the meat department, again, it depends on what you're buying.
A high-fat meat will have more pesticide because the pesticide is stored in the fat.
As for dairy, which can also have added hormones, Gaines says think about how much of it you'll be drinking.
As far as a child, it's probably wise if they're drinking a lot of milk that you would consider organic.
If and when you do decide to go organic, make sure you're getting the real deal. Always look for this logo, USDA Organic. That's your guarantee you're getting what you're paying for. When it comes to organic packaged foods like cereal, they're almost never worth the price since they already go through so much processing. It's also worth pointing out organic foods have the same nutrition content. This organic Quaker oatmeal, for example, has the same number of calories and fat grams as the regular version.
So nutritionally, an apple is an apple is an apple.
Another buzzword these days, gluten-free, and it's also rarely worth the cost unless you have a medical condition. Gluten is a protein in wheat, so if after eating wheat you have digestion problems or an itchy rash or sores or feelings of irritability or fatigue, check with your doctor. You may have celiac disease, and a gluten-free diet would be wise. At the end of the day, the most important thing is your health. Foods that are organic or gluten-free can be helpful for some, but for most, they're not essential to an overall healthy diet. Another rule of thumb, just eat what makes you feel best. Even if you don't have celiac disease, new research suggests some people may just be gluten sensitive. It's a new science. You can read all about it right now at our website. The links are inside this story on the Defenders page of WSFA.com. And while you're there, click on the Defenders button to email us your story idea or call us at 288-1212.